What's up, everybody? Adobe just reported earnings a couple days ago. Clearly, the market didn't like it because the stock was down about 7% on the day, and that was actually after dropping a bit the day before as well. We've reached a new 52-week low here. It was under $200 a share for part of that time on Friday. Over the past year, you're probably aware Adobe stock down a ton, roughly cut in half. Over 5 years, really doesn't look much better. Adobe is a company I've been following for a very long time. I've used their tools for well over a decade. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of their creative applications. I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with the company over the past decade. There's certainly some things about their products that frustrate me, but as a stock, I really haven't owned Adobe for very long. I just bought Adobe in the past couple months. I talked about it on YouTube at the time. I was buying mostly in these 240s. This was a small holding of mine. I made it a little bit over a 2% position, about 2.5%. Now, when the price dropped to $200 a share this week, that 2.5% became, a little less than 2% position. So as always, nothing here is advice for you to buy or sell Adobe stock. I just give you my opinion, and I will tell you what I'm doing with my money, what I'm doing with my position here at the end of the video. As always, if you get value, subscribe to the channel. If you want to grab my Google Sheets template for analyzing stocks, then consider following me on Patreon. A link to that will be down below. Now, let's get into it. And because we've talked about Adobe a bunch before, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the company. You probably know what they do. You might be familiar with their applications like Photoshop or Premiere. You're also probably aware about the overall narrative around software stocks as a whole. The bearish case is that AI will enable many other players to essentially replicate what a lot of these software companies already do. Using AI, it might be easier to create products like Photoshop. There's also generative AI tools that allow you to simply put in a prompt and create a photo or video. And this is going to destroy the moat that Adobe has had around creative tools. Now, as someone who has worked as a creative professional for many years, I think a lot of people underestimate how entrenched Adobe's products are. If you're a content creator on YouTube, you might decide that you can use Canva to make a thumbnail. You don't need Photoshop. But if you're a creative professional, if you're a photographer, if that's your living, you need Photoshop. And it's not just because it's the industry standard. It's also because if you want to share files around, if you're editing in Premiere and someone else is editing with you and you have to share Premiere projects. You can't be working in, Sony Vegas or something like that and share with someone who's working in Premiere. In fact, way back in the day when Adobe switched over to this subscription model, and you see the stock really took off, the subscription model was a huge hit for them. Adobe was almost actually, I would say, one of the first companies that had this SaaS model. And it took off in part because if you were working with someone else on a project, they removed the backwards compatibility from projects. So say that I did not have Creative Cloud, which Creative Cloud, that's their subscription service. You pay every month a certain amount, you get access to their applications. Well, if I didn't have that, if I just had the standalone, I download, I pay one time, I install the software on my computer version. If I had, CS5 or whatever it was at the time on my computer, and I was working with someone who had Creative Cloud, if I sent them my CS5 project, they could open that up. If I had a Premiere file that I sent them, they could open that up with Creative Cloud, with their up-to-date version of Premiere. But if they sent the edit back to me, I couldn't open it on my end. I would have to migrate over to Creative Cloud as well. And this has been hugely successful for them. This is Adobe's revenue, their trailing 12 months revenue every quarter for the past 10 years. And it's basically just a line up and to the right. Here's operating income, basically just up and to the right. Everyone uses these products. They've been able to increase their prices while maintaining a market leader position. And in spite of this dominance they've had, the stock obviously over the past 5 years has completely collapsed. Now, Adobe's trading for, roughly 11 times this fiscal year's earnings. And considering the growth that they have and the fact that they're returning tons of capital to shareholders in the form of buybacks, essentially the market is saying here that we don't believe in the future of this company. The market is pricing in massive AI disruption. And while obviously I don't have a crystal ball, I can't predict the future, I think that the fear here is overblown. There's no evidence right now in the numbers that Canva, Figma, these Gen AI tools are really taking over a large portion of the professional space. Adobe is still dominant, and until I see evidence in the numbers that Adobe's moat is collapsing, I'm probably going to continue to believe that creative professionals will largely be using Adobe products. They will be using them for quite some time, and Adobe will be very profitable. And as far as what the numbers actually were for this quarter, they were all extremely strong. Everything was just a little bit better than their guidance. Record top line revenue, $6.6 billion in the quarter, 13% growth. Now, I normally focus on constant currency growth, which was 11%. They're up to $27 billion in annual recurring revenue. And that's also always been part of the appeal of a lot of these SaaS companies, is the revenue is mostly recurring revenue. It's subscription based. It's very sticky, very predictable. And also, especially for Adobe, very high margin. In addition to the strong quarterly results, they increased their financial targets for the year a little bit. They're guiding for GAAP earnings per share of $18. I don't really look at the non-GAAP numbers. They add back in stock-based compensation into these. And frankly, the stock-based compensation is really high. Adobe gives out tons of shares to its employees. Right now, about $2 billion-ish in share-based compensation. So I'm always adjusting for that. That's a real expense to us if we are buying equity in the company. So for example, right now, operating cash flow last 12 months is $10 to $11 billion. I subtract out that share-based compensation to get to my adjusted free cash flow. And I'm looking at, a little over $8 billion in adjusted free cash flow for the company. Still extremely strong. That's a double-digit free cash flow yield for a company with essentially no net debt, great margins, market leader, and they're using that cash flow to buy back a ton of their shares. You just see the share count has been dropping massively. So even with all the dilution from the share-based compensation they have, which is substantial, the share buybacks are way larger. And they have gotten more aggressive with buybacks as the share price has declined, which is, for me, exactly what I would like to see from the management team. Now, let's get into some of the negatives from the quarter. And the main one probably is that the CFO is leaving. He's been with the company, I think, about 4 years. And this is, of course, after the CEO announced that he is stepping down last quarter. They still haven't found a replacement for him. He's been leading the company for a very long time. So now with the CEO and CFO seats up for grabs, there's a lot of question marks about the management team of this company. What's it going to look like in the future? It's generally not a good sign when the insiders are jumping ship. But of course, the CEO, he's now 62 years old. He's been running this company for a while. There could be a number of reasons why he wants to move on, maybe do something else with his life. Who knows? Speaking of insiders, the CEO and CFO have sold some of their shares recently, not a ton of insider buying. And while that may be a bearish signal for some people, I should point out that for a lot of tech companies, especially tech companies where the share-based compensation is quite high, you typically do see just a lot of sells. I mean, imagine that you're an executive at one of these companies. A lot of your compensation is coming in the form of stock options. You have a ton of your net worth probably tied up into this business. You're not looking to just go out and make open market purchases. And as your options vest, even if you think the company might be undervalued, you probably want to just take some risk off the table and diversify a bit away from the company that not only employs you, but also which you own a ton of equity in. So it's pretty typical that if you have a tech company and lots of share-based compensation, you're just going to have a bunch of sells. The other thing that I think a bunch of analysts have pointed to on the call that they think is a negative is Adobe is really increasing their freemium model. So while they have, their professional tools and Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, all this stuff, they want to compete with Canva. So Adobe Express, that's kind of their lower end free product where you can pay for generative AI things, but you don't have to pay upfront to use Express. And investing so much into these free tools is likely going to lower margins going forward, but I don't have as bearish of a view of this as others. They say, we believe now is the time to aggressively acquire the next generation of Adobe loyalists. The strategic shift to acquire more freemium customers through Acrobat and Firefly lowers our second half annual recurring revenue growth expectations from individual subscribers. But we believe these changes do make Adobe even stronger. Annual recurring revenue, of course, is a key metric that people are looking at for this company, and it's actually still projected to grow about 10%. And thus far, the free offerings really haven't cannibalized much from their core professional audience. Monthly active users from Acrobat and Express increased by about 20% year over year. So from 700 million to 850 million. A lot of that growth is from Express. So we aren't seeing right now that AI is killing the core users. And in fact, there is an argument that AI could be a tailwind for Adobe. They're integrating a ton of AI tools into their products. People are using them. The AI annual recurring revenue has roughly tripled year over year, which might sound huge, but it was starting from such a low base. It's up to about $500 million for AI first annual recurring revenue. So while that might sound like a big number, it's a very small amount of total annual recurring revenue. But this is going to grow going forward. In many ways, AI is strengthening the offering that Adobe has. Obviously, AI will change this industry, but I think Adobe is just as likely as anyone to be the beneficiary of that. In fact, it reminds me a little bit of Google a couple years ago when people were saying that LLMs and things like ChatGPT, they were going to destroy Google's dominance of search, that AI was a game changer. And as a result, Google stock dropped a ton. Their multiple compressed. And the bears were partly right in that AI is going to be a game changer. It does affect search. But the narrative that this was going to be devastating for Google, or even a headwind at all for Google, really has not proven to be correct. I think most people are now of the opinion that, well, AI is clearly a tailwind here. If Adobe's revenue keeps on going up and up and up, as it has been for the next couple years, I think you might get a sentiment shift where people realize, hey, AI, not the nail in the coffin that we thought it was for this company. And with that, I think it's time to go to our spreadsheet and put some assumptions in for the future here and see what we might expect for a return on our investment in Adobe stock today. And the numbers I have here, these are just the numbers that I had last time we looked at the company, so I haven't changed anything yet. You see revenue growth over the next 5 years, I had it at 9%. Now, you could just say, okay, 11% for this year, then 10 and 9, 8, 7. We think it's going to drop down. You'd get effectively a similar result. Now, I was giving them 35% operating margins and assuming that a lot of their cash flow does come back to shareholders in the form of buybacks. If we want to be a little more conservative and say, maybe 33% operating margins in a world where freemium takes over more and more of the business, I think that's fair. And if you want to give this company a lower multiple than a 14 times multiple that I was giving them, if you just want to give it a 12 times multiple, I don't really like to assume a lot of multiple expansion in my base case. Then with a 12 times multiple, you're looking at a 20% annualized return on this stock over 5 years. That's about a 150% return over 5 years. Certainly a great result. And this is only assuming they trade at 12 times operating income, not assuming that, the sentiment really rebounds here. If you want to change this to 10 times operating income, you're still looking at more than a double over 5 years. 9 times operating income, now you're at about a double. So, I think if you don't believe that growth is going to completely collapse here, then you don't need a sentiment change to get a great return out of Adobe stock. Now, speaking of growth collapsing, let's get to our bear case. Previously, I just had 6% growth every year for 5 years, but if you want to break this down, 11% for this year, and then we just assume that growth drops off dramatically. So let's bring that down 7, 5, and then this company essentially just stagnates, grows only in line with inflation and operating margins. I'm going to pull that back 2 to 30, just be a little more pessimistic here. Then with a 9 times multiple, you're still getting an 8% annualized return on this stock over 5 years. That might even be a market-beating return over this time with what I think are quite pessimistic assumptions. As far as my bull case is essentially that the revenue growth doesn't slow down in the way that people think it will. Maybe I'll bring this back to 10% every year instead of 11, and I'll pull back the operating margins a little. But essentially, the bull case is this is business as usual, and AI, it's not going to be a headwind. In fact, it might be a tailwind for this business. And when the market realizes that and sentiment turns, then similar to Google, as sentiment turned and their multiple came back to where it was, well, I think for Adobe, if the multiple comes back to, a 20 times multiple of operating income, which, by the way, still quite a bit less to where they traded for in the past. But if this happens, you're looking at a 35% annual return over 5 years. That is more than a quadruple on your money. That would essentially mean Adobe stock trading around $900 a share out 5 years from now. And while that might seem crazy today, if the bearish narrative around Adobe turns out to be incorrect, I think that's certainly within the realm of possibility. So for me, I think the risk reward looks excellent at these prices. And this is not advice for anyone out there to buy Adobe stock, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. And Adobe was a small position for me before, as I said at the beginning of the video, about 2.5% position. After the stock dropped in price here, that position was just under 2%, and I decided to add to my holding. Adobe is now just over 3% of my portfolio, and frankly, if the prices stay around here, I would love to add more to my Adobe position. Obviously, there's uncertainty. That's an inevitability in buying individual stocks. There's always going to be uncertainty, but I think the risk reward is good. Just my opinion. So if you got value out of the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to grab this Google Sheets template or join my Discord, consider following me on Patreon. Link to that will be down below. And if you agree or disagree with anything I said, if you have an opinion on Adobe stock, put that down in the comments. And I hope to see you all in another video.